Hey bro, how you doing?
Hey Jordan, how are ya? As you know,
Good, man.
had this call before, and we were planning on hopefully getting you to critique my video that I posted yesterday, and hopefully give me some feedback and let the audience see it all live. So, I'll let you take it away from here.
Yeah. So obviously I saw your video yesterday. I thought that was pretty smart what you did, man. I gotta take my hat off to you there.
Thank you.
What do you want from me? Do you want me to go through and give my opinion on that video or
I want you to basically, because I know you're good at this, right? I want you to break down where you see flaws or where you see gaps where things don't make sense so I can explain and give people a bit of a more, like a greater understanding of anything that I missed. Because I'm just reiterating what you've taught me. So I thought it'd be better from the
yeah,
source.
okay, fair enough. I thought probably, if I'm honest, you know me, I'm never going to say something spiteful to you. I'm just doing it with love. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Your voice was very different. Your voice was very different the way you presented it, and it almost looked like you were reading from a teleprompter. Did you have like your
nah.
notes there?
So the
You
actual sad
didn't.
part is that was all from the hip, but it didn't look like it because when I'm recording, I record on the selfie camera and I get distracted by my reflection. So I just look at myself instead of looking at the camera. So it seems as if
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the distance somewhere else reading off a computer or something. But that was all just from the top of my head.
Oh that's good in that case because then you've almost done yourself a disservice because when you were speaking like that, it appeared you were reading from some notes, but actually you spoke quite well if you did that. Did you literally do that from the hip? Did you?
Yeah, literally had like three dot points on a laptop, which were one word each, and that was it.
Dude, beautiful.
Yeah.
See how you're speaking now. This is the way that I think that you would sound better coming across as, right? Just the way you're speaking. So instead of speaking to me, next time you're speaking to the audience. So I would say that probably was the biggest thing I noticed.
Mm.
I like. I'll just jump around because I rewatched it before you rang me because I knew you were going to ring me, obviously.
Yeah, cool.
Um, I liked your comparison when you said about that older people know when you're bullshitting or not because it's so true, man. I'm telling you, the like, and I don't mean this in a horrible way, but when I get a 20-year-old on the end of the phone to me, I can ask about four questions and I know exactly whether they are or aren't what they say they are. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah, and you did
when
that with
you've
me.
done something,
You
yeah,
did
well,
that with
that's
me.
right. I did it exactly with you, and you know how it feels to be on the end of getting these grilling questions, as do I. I mean, I'm not perfect by any stretch, and I've been also 20 before, and have also tried to sort of fake it till you make it, like they try and tell you to do. And it gets into this uncomfortable position where you're highly embarrassed. You don't know how to get out of it. You know the other guy sees you, so you nailed it when you said it's like your 6-year-old brother trying to sneak around the house. You don't even need to look; you know what he's doing, right? And that's because he has a lower level of perception than you do in this situation, right?
Hmm.
And so your example there, I thought was perfect because it's so true. It's so true. It is so easy to spot somebody playing outside of their pool, so to speak, right?
Yeah,
So I thought
definitely.
that was really good. I thought I liked your editing, how you got your little thing with Gary V slotted in there, and he even did one with me, man. I mean, you know, from my perspective, watching that whole thing unfold, I it almost feels like I'm paying you to say all this stuff, you know.
Nah. That's actually a question I got from a lot of people. A lot of people were actually hitting me up and telling me, hey, bro, like, let me ask you honestly, what does this guy benefit from all of this? And it's like, I
Yeah.
already know the answer, but I'll give you a chance to like answer to the viewers. Why do you do this?
Um, Look, man, that is an incredibly deep question, deeper than you probably would realize. And I guess if you're going to share this, you know, people will be only getting a sort of feel for who I am. I mean, you and I have known each other 2 odd years now, so you know why I do it. So I mean, I'm basically explaining it for anybody watching. So um, it's a tough one to answer because it's quite a deep, like I said, it's quite a deep answer. When I was younger, I didn't have anybody to guide me in this same way, right? And so I have this need, as well as considering myself a teacher, I have this need to give back to younger guys because I know what it's like to be 20 and not really know what to do, but to have this like fire in my stomach burning, like I need to do something. I need to make a dent. I need to make an impact out here. and you're not sure what that is, but you know, you almost feel like the clock's ticking, right? And you just want to do some shit. And often it leads to young guys, and again, I've been there myself, doing the wrong thing, right? Doing stupid shit, fighting, you know, getting into crimes, getting into gangs. And I don't, it's a hard thing to kind of say, but because it sounds like I'm just saying some shit for the sake of saying it, but I don't really want to see young guys going down that path, right? Because part of what I do, and again, you mentioned it pretty well there, I care. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I give a shit, you know, I give a shit what happens to the youth of today and what you guys get up to, man. I care for you guys. I do. It's not bullshit. And so I just want to give back, right? The second thing is, selfishly, it makes me feel good to be unselfish and make you feel good, right? So when I teach you something and you go away and you've got this moment where you're like, what the fuck? I never even thought about that. Makes me feel insanely good, like you can't imagine, right? So selfishly, I get my moment when you get your moment.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Being selfishly unselfish. And you've said this to me like 1,000 times, Odd, and I've seen it happen again and again. Like, from my perspective, it's easy to understand. Like, when my friends ask me, why does Jordan do this? And I go, bro, it's actually mind-blowing and scary, but it's literally because he cares. And it's such a different thing in today's society, which is life.
That's honestly, bro, that's number one. Yeah, I believe out here you have to give back. If you just take from everybody in the world, everywhere you go, if you take, you like, why are you here? Do you know what I mean? Like why are we here? We're not here to just take from everybody everything, get every cent we can. We've got to give. We've got to help each other. We've got to share. We've got to work together. That is the number one reason. And then there are other things that come off the back of that are, how would you say, nice to haves. But the number one reason is you have to give back. I just believe that with this, and that's it. And that's just the way it is. Actually, you know,
Sorry. Following the theme of like giving back, I did have a lot of people shooting me questions that I know that you would like be very well equipped to answer, or very well equipped to address. So let me hit you with it if you don't mind. So I had a lot of young people asking me about what your opinion is on university, and how, like, in today's day and age, we're all told that's the only way and you have to get a degree. And what's your opinion? Just expand on that for us.
Look, I don't, it's a tough one for me, because I understand, you know, being 35, right? I've got 1 foot, I'm in between your generation and my parents' generation, if that makes sense, right? And I often say that my age was like the last of the old school. And the reason I say that is because we've lived a decent amount of life without the internet and phones, and we've lived a decent amount of life from then on with the internet and phones. So I can see, and I'm particularly perceptive. I watch and I pay attention to these things, but I can see how my parents see the world, or your parents see the world, and I can also see how you guys see the world, because I'm in the middle, right? I jump between two camps, which is, again, going into your last question, another reason why I enjoy hanging out with you, mentoring you, because I get a taste of what it's like to be a kid these days, right? And what that means, what the struggles are, what the perspectives are you guys have, what you do and don't like. But coming back to the question, my thoughts on university, rather than giving them and leading, you young guys down a path and pissing your parents off, which is not what I'm trying to do, I'll give you a perspective from my world that can possibly answer the question. I know it's a roundabout way. Mm-hmm. So when we hire for our businesses, two types of people turn up, okay? So let's talk about our warehouse, right? We've got my family's got a big liquor warehouse that we supply nightclubs and pubs to. Mm-hmm. When a guy turns up to manage our warehouse for a job, right, you get two types of people. Murray, the guy who has been around for 30 years, driving forklifts, driving trucks, managing stock inventory, managing warehouses. He's swept the floor, he's driven the trucks, he's drank the booze. He knows all facets of the business. Mm-hmm. Then the second type of guy that turns up, could be a woman, doesn't matter. The second type of guy that turns up is the young guy, roughly 24 years old, 25 could be, and tells us he's got all the pretty papers and tells us he knows how to run a warehouse. Now, that guy might have spent 5, 6, 7 years in uni, maybe 3, maybe 2, it doesn't matter. But he's telling me he's got papers that tells us he knows how to run the warehouse. Murray's got 10 years, 20 years of references of people that a employer can ring. Was Murray any good? Did he stay on for how long? Was he a trustworthy employee? Did he do his job? Does he understand forklift? Does he understand stock inventory? So when you're an employer and you're in the middle and you've got two guys, one's got 10 years experience, or let's say 5 years experience, and another guy's telling you he's spent 5 years learning how to do this, I mean, who would you choose?
Well, straight away, I'd choose the one that has more experience, because I've seen what experience does for people like you yourself. Like if you put you against some kid that came out of uni, you'd thrash him just because of the years of experience. So I'd definitely go experience every time.
Right. So there's your answer. I come from a background of not going to university, but that's why I'm only 35 years old and have got like 13 years of experience in business. Do you understand?
Yeah.
If I went to university, I would get focused smarts, and I don't mean this condescending to anybody who's been to university. I'm just saying it the way that I see it. Focused smarts on an isolated topic, and then I'm coming out and somehow I have to sell myself to an employer looking for somebody with experience that I know everything there is to know about this thing that I learned. But the trouble was, not very often in business can you get an isolated topic, right? You can't go into marketing and just be a marketer. You need to understand, cost of goods. You need to understand manufacturing processes. You need to understand logistics. You can't just come and say, I'm just going to be a marketer. And no amount of a week's worth of seminars is going to help you understand that infrastructure, right? The way you understand that infrastructure is by being thrown on the forklift and saying, there, don't break any bottles, don't fuck it up, or you're gone. That's what makes you think, shit, I gotta make sure I know how to maneuver this thing. I gotta make sure all the bottles are right where they need to be, or I'm gone. That type of pressure breeds the character, breeds the experience, and breeds the type of employee that employers are looking for. So that's what I would answer that question. I know it was probably pretty deep, but that's how I would answer that question from a first-hand perspective, rather than saying you should do this or you should do that.
I love that. That is a perfect answer. Just on a side note, all right, well, good. The computer video was just lagging a bit behind, but it's all caught up now. So another question that I got from a lot of the young people, and you've already given me the answer to this, but I think it would be better coming straight from yourself. What is investment? A lot of people are asking, what should I do to invest? And I will add something else on top of that, because I've known from what you've taught me. I'd love it if you could touch on saving a little bit too, because I feel like the two go hand in hand. But yeah, take it away.
Investment in terms of securing it from investors, or investment in terms of I've got a bunch of money, I want to put it into something?
The more put it in something. I feel like that's what a lot of young people are talking about. But with Silicon Valley projecting gaining investment as the easiest thing in the world, I'd love it if you touched on that too, because I know I know your opinion on that.
Okay, so the good thing, and this again answers the earlier question, right? Why does a 35-year-old man hang out with how old are you now, 20?
I'm 20. I'm 21 in November.
So why does a 15-year-old older businessman hang out with a younger dude, right? Why? The perspective I've gotten from you, no, I'll answer you. The perspective I've gotten from you, right, is that it was perceivably easy to gain investment from people, from angel investors, right? And these are some of the things that both yourself and other young entrepreneurs that I've worked with in the past have said. I've got this thing and I'm just going to get some investment and then I'll be off to the races. I think the thing that, I know, the thing that you guys often overlook is put the shoe on the other foot. If it's your money, if you've got $500,000 and somebody says to you, give it here and I'll turn it into 1.5 million, I'll 3x your money, right? Mm-hmm. Picture somebody says that to you. The first thing you're going to say is, well, how the hell are you going to do that? And the phrase, "oh, just trust me," isn't good enough. You are not going to hand over $500,000 to oh, trust me, I know what I'm doing. It's not going to work. You're going to start looking into that person's track record. You're going to start looking into that person's experience. You're going to start looking into where that person's come from. You've got to start looking into what that person has to offer. Are they a good operator? Are they even good at what they do? What do they know? How are they going to turn this money from 500,000 into 1.5? How? Like literally how? I want to see everything. I want to see from your logo to the minute you send out the invoice and everything in between. And if you cannot show me that, you're not a shot of securing investment. These are the facts, okay? Because if you turn the shoe on the other foot, you would never give somebody $500,000 without them answering about 500 questions.
Oh, and you've shown me that firsthand. Like you've told me, hey, Najib, whoa, first of all, investment isn't that easy. Let's hold it back. And I had an opportunity to invest with you when I had a bit of cash behind me. And I saw firsthand how cashing out your money and touching it and trying to give it to someone is a whole lot harder than it looks. And I love you, bro. So that says a lot. Imagine a stranger. No way in hell.
That's right. Now imagine that stranger is now 20 years old. And now imagine that stranger is doing beer bongs on the weekend, but on Monday he turns up in a suit and now he's trying to tell you, trust me, I know what I'm doing, right? You can start to see how this also answers your earlier question of, or your comment in your video of older people can see straight through you. Now, don't get me wrong. There are exceptions, and there are some 20-year-olds out there who absolutely hustle every day. Every day they spend is working, is learning, expanding their mind. Don't get me wrong. There are those, because I was in a roundabout way, I was one of them, right? So I know that they exist. But your general guy who comes along and goes, I'm just gonna, write up a business plan, start a logo, get a web page up, which is essentially an interactive PDF. It's nothing more than that. There's got no substance behind it. There's no infrastructure. There's no logistics attached to the product. It's based on Shopify. These kind of things are not businesses, and they do not impress people with a lot of experience who have had to work pre-internet and pre-phone, okay? Now, whether that's right or wrong, their view on that is irrelevant. That's the way they see the world, do you know?
Mm-hmm. 100%. Wow. Like as always, like your answers are so insightful, and like there's many layers to the onion with you. So I feel like even till today, after listening to you for 2 years, I'm still learning like every second of it. But I just wanted to ask something a bit off topic, but what are you drinking? Because like I thought you stopped drinking coffee and all that. So I'm wondering.
How'd you know it was coffee?
I don't know, just like a wild guess, it's black.
Yeah, no, it's cold brew. It's cold brew. Cold brew coffee. Yeah. Okay. Good guess. How'd you know that? That's what I said. How'd you know it's coffee? It looks like Coca-Cola.
I thought it was coffee. Oh, you would never drink Coke. Jordan, I know you too well to know that. You would never drink Coca-Cola. Never. Anyway, so enough about that. Like the thing that I wanted to let a lot of young people know with regards to investment. So you talked about gaining investment. Now with investing and putting your money to work, like what advice did you have on that? And could you just touch base on that real quick?
Yeah, sure. So basically when you're investing, you've got to reverse the question, right? So what I just answered you, now you're on the other side of that. You've got, let's say $5,000, $10,000. And the smartest way to make some money with that is to invest. But you've got to, say it's your uncle or say it's a family member. It usually is, because that's how you kind of get into these conversations. You've got to make sure you know or trust the guy that you're going to give the money to, right? So, just make sure you understand who the jockey of that horse is. Can they do what they say? How do you know that? Because they tell you, or have you spoken to 5 of their friends and they say, yeah, this guy, he knows what he's doing. So just take that answer that I just gave you and spin it the other way around. And that's how you know whether you should invest with them or not. Could
you expand on the jockey and horse thing that you just said? Like, so are you talking about operators or what are you talking about?
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So the horse is the business and the jockey is the operator, right? You got to bet on the guy with his ability to ride the horse. Because you could put me on black caviar. I'm telling you right now, we ain't winning no races.
Okay.
Yeah, right. I'm
Yes.
too heavy. I can't ride a horse. I don't have a clue. Right. There's no sense. Like the jockey will make you lose.
Okay.
Right.
So in following that theme, does that mean, because I know you've told me earlier that ideas aren't worth anything. And when I first started business as a young person, I thought, bro, my idea this, my idea that. I thought it was really about me and my idea brought value to the table. But you shortly let me know that wasn't the case. If you could just expand on that and reiterate those points.
Well, the idea is nothing without the ability to execute it, right? So it's like having a 1,000 horsepower car and you've got tires on it this skinny, like bicycle tires. Doesn't matter how much horsepower that car puts out, you can't use it because you don't have the ability to execute it because you've got bicycle tires on your car. Does that make sense?
Yep. So the idea is the car and you are the bicycle tires.
No. What I'm saying is the car having 1,000 horsepower. So in other words, the idea being amazing doesn't matter if you can't lay it down, if you can't get it to go, if you can't create it. And so what I'm talking about there is execution. If you can't execute on this outstanding idea, there's no point. It's worth nothing, right? So some of the best ideas will come from an 18-year-old. But the trouble is they don't have because 18-year-olds, you guys have got fresh minds. You see things different. You're innovative. You're hungry. You're in these circles where everybody's bouncing ideas off each other. You're in uni. You're getting, taught to think creatively, right? So some of the best ideas come from you guys. But the where you come undone is where you don't realize the playing field you're in, right? When you're trying to play soccer, when everyone else is playing rugby, you get run over. You're kicking it, and everyone just bowls you over, right? You don't even know the playing field you're in. So it becomes an execution question. Do you even, and it goes back to one of the answers I've answered prior, do you guys know how to handle logistics? Where do you go for that? And this is where I feel companies like Shopify and things like that, they're kind of preying on your guys' ignorance a little bit, because things like Shopify will tell you, oh, we've got that all sorted. You just need to give us a widget and then you can sell it on our shop. But it's a whole lot more than that, And without the ability to execute, an idea is literally worth nothing. It just is. And any person who's been in business a long time can tell you. I mean, myself, I got a phone full of about 40 or 50 ideas I know would be good. But at the same time, as much as I know the idea is good, I also know what it's going to take to execute that. And I may not have the time. I may not have the money. I may not have the people to pull these things off. And so the idea stays parked.
Wow. Phenomenal. That's the best answer I could have asked for. You gave crazy insight. And thank you so much, Jordan, for helping me out do this video. I know you're on holiday, bro, and I literally ripped you out of your holiday to do this with me, man. Thank you. I hope my audience.
You got lucky, bro, because it's raining outside, so there's not a lot I can do. So I'm happy. Man, I'm happy to be here anyway. It doesn't matter. I'll always give you the best I can.
Cool. Thanks, man. And you've been a legend. Thank you so much. And hopefully we'll produce this and post this up, produce this and post this up, and people can gain a lot of value from this, and we can look into doing more episodes. I'd love to get people to put down comments on what I should ask you next, or what they are wondering for themselves, because we're having more context allows you to give more specified or more exact advice to people.
Yeah, definitely. Context does help. It's, as you know, I've mentored quite a few young guys now, and it's quite often they just drop like a very general question. But if somebody can come to me and say, like I've got a t-shirt business and I'm trying to do this, this, and this, but I'm finding this isn't working, I can certainly reverse engineer and break it down for you and give you more help, So I can see where you're going with these videos, man, and bravo, you're doing great. I mean, even though there were a little few things in that video last night that you could have gone, improved a little bit, I still think it's outstanding what you said, and the way you're going with it. So sharing your journey, I think, again, is very, very selfless, and it's something that I really relate to. So I'm happy to do it. And that's why when you told me what you were doing, I just thought, fuck, dude, awesome, man. And I'm happy to be here and help other guys. And also, I'll just say, as one last parting shot, I'm not getting nothing out of this, guys. There's no, like, I just want to make that very clear. There's no course to buy. There is no freaking, I don't know what people think. You'd know better than me what people are saying or what.
Definitely.
I'm just giving to this guy right here, and he is giving to you guys. So, I mean, it's just the give scenario, and we're just trying to bring value to the younger generation out there. And hopefully you guys see some of this shit, because I can see what Najib's doing, and it's awesome. It's really awesome.
I'd also love to take this opportunity to like say to like everybody my age, I just got lucky bumping into Jordan. Like, I knew going to the event I wanted to network, but I didn't know that I would meet him. So don't think I think I'm above any of you guys or anything. I am still learning every single day, always open to take advice. Like, I'm literally with you guys. Don't think I've made it because I'm recording a couple of videos or something. It's just me behind the camera.
Let's quickly unpack that. How much time do we have?
We have a reasonable amount of time. What's up?
Okay, let's unpack that quickly. How did you come across me? Right, think about this out. Think this out literally for everyone's benefit. How did you come across me?
Okay, so in the exact like the way it happened.
Where were we? Right,
we're at a Gary Vee event, and like I was obsessed with Gary Vee from Instagram. Heard he was coming to Melbourne, wanted to go there so bad. Also had in the back of my mind that when you go somewhere like that, only people that would attend that are like-minded people. Like let's say, for example, a jockey who's always on the piss. Like, no offense to him, but if he's not in the right mindset of business, you'd never find him at an event like that. The people at those events are people who enjoy that type of thing. So I knew 100% I was going to bump into business people. And that was my goal, to gain contacts and to grow my network.
Very smart. And I'll tell you another scenario that does not happen often. You and I, we come from different worlds, right? I'm living this sort of middle-aged corporate lifestyle. You're living the young, refugee, kid from the street sort of thing, coming up, you're learning, you're going to uni. Like, I don't hang around in unis, you know what I mean? I'm not playing basketball down at the courts, and you're not staying, at hotels and flipping doing this kind of thing. Our two worlds would have never met otherwise, right? So I know you've mentioned to me in the past, probably about 3 or 4 months ago, you said, people always ask you, how do you get a mentor? So let's answer the question. You have to put yourself in these scenarios where the people that you not even admire, but the people that you think are slightly ahead of you in the game will hang out and congregate. And that's how you will come across somebody like that. And if you get a guy like me who's sort of willing to give back to a few guys, you'll get a mentor. You will. I mean, it depends on people's reasons. People have many reasons to mentor, but you have to be in the game though, right? So the fact that you were even at a business seminar, and so was I, meant that our worlds collided. Mm-hmm. Short of that, you're not going to catch me down the basketball court, or vice versa, right?
Exactly.
So we would never integrate out here in society.
Yeah. So you have to take the initiative. You have to take the initiative and put yourself in a place where you will bump into these types of people. And I found that, like, from everything you've taught me, it all just starts from something as simple as a coffee and open conversation. Now, that's something you've said to me again and again and again, like thousands of times. And I know, like, we've had a lot of conversations with people, and it's been just that easy. Like, you hit them up, say, hey, I like what you're doing. I'm a young person. Yet again, be authentic, which is what the entire first video talks about. Tell them your actual situation, tell them what you're trying to achieve, and just say you want to have a coffee and an open conversation. It opens doors. It's miraculous.
Starts with a coffee. Actually, now that you mentioned that, let me touch on this too. One thing I would say as well, you did it well when you mentioned in your video, you said, look, I just asked for a coffee with them, and then I asked them to help me, and if they've got some experience they can share with me. Very good, but also don't forget the give, right? You have to give, because when you ask, all you're doing is taking again, right? So you forgot the part, and I know you only forgot to say it. I know you know it, but don't forget the part where you give something back too, whether it be time, whether it be assistance, whether it be physically, that you help them, move something or pack something, or, you offer something. You say, hey, I've got a connection over here. Can I put you in touch? You always remember to give back, because people do, and it doesn't matter how nice a smiley face you have, people get tired of takers, right? And people never get tired of givers. So if you just go around through your life and you did nothing but give every day, you would have all the friends in the world. A, because of what you bring to the table. B, because how you make people feel. And C, because whatever it is that you provide, you've provided without looking like, okay, now give me back, right?
Yeah.
So
100%. And also,
I say again, I know that you know that.
yeah. To expand on that, giving without the expectation of receiving is something that's also worked for me. I just feel like okay, so for example, I've helped this person in this scenario and I've gained nothing back from them, and then I find out like someone like you is helping me for no reason. It feels like as if the universe or God or anything or something like that sort is bringing back goodness in my life for the things I've done for other people. So it might not be direct or indirect, but giving always brings back good things to you. That's what I've found throughout my life, man.
Well, this is what I've said this to you before too. You might not receive from the person you've given to. Oftentimes you don't. And I think that's where people make mistakes, particularly when you're younger too. And I've been there too, being 20-year-old, man, I helped this guy move house, and I gave him a lift the other day, and I bloody babysat his dog and this son of shit. And he's just, he wants to do me like this. This is bullshit, and you sort of have this kind of attitude like, what the fuck, but you may not necessarily get back from that guy. You may get back in the form of opportunity. You may get back in the form of help from somebody else. It just goes around, right? And the quicker you realize that, the quicker you give, and you don't sort of hold back like, oh, but if I give my last $20, man, and what am I going to miss out? Like, just, it may not come from the guy you gave to, or the person or the group you gave to, but it will come back to you, because that's how things work. We're here to help people, not take from them. This is what I think anyway. Doesn't, that's just my opinion.
Align with yours, man. My belief aligns with yours. We're here to give back and help people as much as we can, bro. I reckon that's the best thing we can do in this life. And like you said, feeds your soul, bro. It really does, man. And you start to see that you're more happy. You're further away from depression. You don't need as much medication as you used to be on. You just realize so many things come together. It's beautiful.
Let me tell you this, because this is another follow-on answer from an earlier question, and I'll let you in on this insight, because it's nothing I've told you before.
Okay.
You think that when we sit here, I'm bringing all the value and you're bringing nothing. This is what you think. You've said it to me many times before, and I can see it in your eyes.
Yeah.
What you don't realize, what you bring to me, is that I'm in corporate, okay? So things get very, very boring in that. It gets boring. It's the same conversation. It's cost of goods. It's lowering our expenses. It's how do we get cheaper insurance? It's the same shit over and over and over and over. And after a while, after like 10 years, you start dying inside, because you're just like, man, I'm fucking sick of this conversation. And that's the truth, right? And that's where you find yourself at when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and it just gets worse the more you go. Everybody talking about pinching pennies. How are we going to juice this thing for more money? It's the same stupid conversation, right? Mm-hmm. What you bring to my life is, when we talk about things, we're talking about fresh things. We're talking about insights. We're talking about innovation. We're talking about what the market's doing. We're talking about how kids are thinking, what they find hot at the moment. These are fresh conversations that, again, when I say it back to you, we would never cross over. Our worlds would never cross over. So you're bringing me this kind of youthful point of view, this energy, this what our youth are up to, and that brings me a lot, because for once I'm talking about something exciting with some more energy, right? Because it gets very stale as you start getting up that ladder, right? And so that's what you bring to this conversation that you don't think is a major, but for me, I can tell you for a fact it is.
Thanks, man. I'd love to put a smile on your face, bro. And if I help even slightest make you a bit more happy, that's crazy for me, man. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Jordan, bro, I'll let you get back to your holiday, bro. We've touched on some amazing things. I hope everybody can take value. And guys at home, seriously break down what he's saying in these points. Like, get a pen and paper and really think about it. Because as I say, Jordan's told me these things, and I haven't realized it myself until a later point where I've looked back and been like, whoa. that was deeper than I like knew, and it really hits me. So taking
Yeah, it's hard, man. I mean, I appreciate what you're saying. It's not always going to be something that you notice straight up, right? It's gonna, the lesson's gonna come to you later, as you've seen yourself. You're not always going to hear someone like me say something in a video and go, "Oh, holy shit, now I get it," you know. But these things, when as you stack them away, they start to reveal themselves as you go through your life, and these lessons start to make sense the more and more you go. And that's all we're doing here. We're just trying to share what we know, what we think we know, and what we can to try and help others get further in their lives. And pretty much that's it, man. So call me whenever you want, like you always do, and we'll just work our way through the questions that you have, and see where we are at the end, right?
Yeah, definitely. And Jordan, I don't know if you'd be interested in this, but I'll just ask you now. Like, so
Well, here we go. Here we go.
I've got a lot of people that have been really interested in getting like advice from you firsthand and getting feedback from you firsthand. Would like something like the idea of a live consultation or something be something you'd be interested in like down the road?
Probably at the moment I can't, my man. I've got a lot on my plate. But what we can do, I mean, look, you're basically going through some of the lessons that I've taught you anyway. So I think what they should do, if they want to learn what I've got to say, is what you're about to say. I mean, you've told me you're about to lay down our entire 2-year history kind of thing, and I'll jump in wherever I can. But if they watch that, I mean, I've taught you all of this. Well, not all of it, I shouldn't say that, but I've taught you a lot of this. So if they simply watch along, do you know what I'm saying? They're going to see a lot of these messages. And in a later date when I can, I absolutely will consider something like that. But just right now, I can't afford to be doing 50 calls like this a day. I would love to. I would absolutely love to. Don't get me wrong. And maybe something in the future, my man. But at the moment, it's just a bit tough. I've got a lot on my plate, and time is of the essence. Even something like this, it's like, this doesn't give me money, but money's not everything. But there are things I have to pay the bills on.
You still have to make money, right? I understand.
We've got to do it, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we still.
I think in the next episode. I think in the next episode, a lot of people will learn a lot of things, because I'm planning on hopefully touching on due diligence a lot, and I'll give you guys a sneak peek. And that's going to be something that was huge for myself, which helped me get those, those small steps. Like every young person, I know this is a fact, right? Every young person wants to do something, but they don't know where day one is or what to do on day one, day two, day three, like the micro stuff, not the macro vision, but the micro steps. We don't have a clue at all. And you told me that. So next episode should be freaking interesting.
Is that where you're going next episode, is it?
Yeah, that's my plan, man. That's where I want to take it. That's astonishing value, like crazy.
That's going to be a beauty. Yeah. I look forward to seeing that, because you did. You learned. You changed a lot in that. What was it? 5 or 6 weeks that we spent doing that. You changed a lot, man. And like I've always said to you, I could have just told you at the start what the outcome was going to be, but what is the point of that, right?
Yeah.
And watching you walk down that path and unlock these things and tick these things off, by the end of the road, you had all the ingredients for yourself, and you were able to make the decision. It wasn't about what some dickhead over the table's telling you, right?
Yeah. And in doing that, you protected my self-esteem. In doing that, you like saved me like from crushing me. You let me figure it out for myself, which was way better. So, man, thank you for that, and thank you for this chat, Jordan. I think we've done amazing, and everybody, I hope, has gained value. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll talk to you until next time, man.
See you soon, my man. Good job.
Thank you.
See you, bro.